Hello and welcome to the Legendary Chiropractor Podcast. I'm your host, Johnny Reuter, and this podcast is brought to you by thelegendarychiropractor.com, an interactive and immersive virtual platform for prospective chiropractic students, current chiropractic students, recent chiropractic school graduates, and even veteran doctors of chiropractic out in the field wanting just a little bit more from this profession. I hope that you enjoyed today's episode, and if you do, be sure to share with a friend, leave us a rate, leave us a review, and also be sure to subscribe to get more. Chiro HD, superior cloud-based practice management software. Chiro HD is a user-friendly, all-in-one EHR solution built with one mission: to help you run your practice like a boss. Learn more at chirohd.com. Total Clinic Solutions is your go-to source for purchasing both brand new and refurbished chiropractic equipment, as well as phone support for repairs and maintenance. Call Derek and allow him to combine your wishes and his 23 years of chiropractic equipment expertise to find what's best for you and your patients at 704-622-4089 or head to totalclinicsolutions.com now. Yo, what is going on, legendary chiropractors? Johnny Reuter here with another episode of the Legendary Chiropractor Podcast. This one's going to be a little bit shorter, a little bit quicker, but we're talking all about money, continuing this conversation not only about debt, but now about financial responsibility. As always, my disclaimer is I am not a financial advisor. I cannot advise you on what to do with your finances, but I can share personal experiences with you and different things that I do and that I've seen colleagues do to make sure that they are managing their money the best way they possibly can. With that being said, let's dive right in this morning because I don't have much time and I want to make sure we get this episode out to you guys this morning so you can watch it, listen to it, and enjoy it for all that it's worth. So, couple things. Where do you put your money when you start making money, right? That's the big conversation that we're having today. And obviously, yes, the comment and the caption on this image and in this topic was, do we store our money in our mattress still, right? Is that a real thing? It could be, right? It could definitely be a real thing. And it's really important to understand that it's totally okay to have some liquid cash on hand at home. The only problem is yes, you can have cash reserves, but make sure that it's in a secure location. Something like a safe, not your mattress, because if your house lights on fire or your apartment lights on fire or there's some crazy fluke accident that happens, you want to make sure that your money is still protected. And even if you have cash reserves, you want to make sure that money doesn't go up in flames and or get stolen or broken into, et cetera, et cetera. So make sure it's in a safe place if you want to keep cash reserves on hand. I think it's a smart idea. The second thing is banks. Where do you put your money once you start making money, right? Where do you start putting money when you start making money? And that is banks, right? Yeah, a lot of people have a problem with big banks and big corporations and all sorts of things. Here's the reality. Support local business. Support your local community bank. If you type in community bank in whatever region you're in, you'll find a local bank that you can trust, that you can become familiar with. And honestly, it's the best bank for your situation as a young chiropractor and a young small business owner, because they're the ones that are likely to give you the loan and the line of credit that you need in order to start and run and continue to be successful in your business, because they know you, trust you, like you, and they're more than likely than Chase or some of these bigger banks to give you a business loan. And that's really where you got to go. So community banks is a great place to go. Open a personal savings, right? I always say have a personal savings where a percentage of your paycheck or whatever, if you're associating your paycheck, if you're working for yourself, if you're opening your own small business, make sure you run a tight system in regards to your books. If you've never heard of the book Profit First by Mike Michalowicz, I will tell you it is the most life-changing and business aspect changing book that I've ever read. Read Profit First. It is a phenomenal book and it teaches you how to manage your money and optimize your systems as a business owner and as an entrepreneur. So make sure you read that, dive into it deep, because that way you're going to get yourself paid, you're going to get your business paid, and then you're going to get your expenses paid last. Your expenses include not only your paycheck, but your expenses include your employees' paychecks, your lights, your gas, your heat, everything that it costs to run your practice. That's all part of the expenses. And then you do quarterly bonuses, you do end of year bonuses and everything like that for yourself and for your employees. But you have these cash reserves, and you also have enough money at the end of the year to give out for taxes. And if you don't owe that much in taxes that you collected over the year, guess what? You're writing yourself a nice check to your business and or to you personally as a bonus and or a dividend check. So make sure you read the book Profit First by Mike Michalowicz. It's a phenomenal book, and it teaches you a lot about business principles and systems and how to truly run a profitable business as an entrepreneur. And as a chiropractor opening a small business, you are darn certain that you are an entrepreneur. So with that being said, Mike Michalowicz, Profit First. Now, second thing is banks, right? We want to be in some sort of local bank, community bank, something along those lines. Now, in regards to savings and investing and interest and all of those different things, I highly recommend you open up some sort of savings account, personal savings account, that you gain some sort of compounding interest, meaning that if you open like an Ally online only account where you get like 0.5% interest rates, compounding interest rates each month, based on the amount that you have in the account, it's always a good idea. And it just goes to show that, you know, you're able to make money on your money, and the more money you put in there, the more money you're going to make at the end of the year. And so it's really important that you understand how these things work. Obviously you need a checking account. Profit First will tell you need 4 to 5 checking accounts and or more, anywhere between 7 and 10 checking accounts for your business. Up to you on how many you want to do, but if you read Profit First, follow and implement his rules to a T, and it will literally change your life. It will literally change your life. And the third thing that I recommend is something that's interesting for myself right now, as you know, money starts to come in and we start to figure out what to do with it, right? How do we reinvest it? Not only do I want to pay down student loans, not only do I want to pay rent and all sorts of, you know, gas for my car and food for my table and all sorts of different things. But I also want to have money compounding to make sure that when I am, you know, at the point of having a family and having kids and doing all these different things, that I have money and reserves for them that now aren't necessarily cash reserves or liquid cash, but what they are is it's compounding and making money on itself, because I'm writing that money off, that percentage off my paycheck or off of my earnings per month, per quarter, etc., that I can kind of now put that into the bank and not really have to worry about it too much, and let it grow on itself until, say, I have kids, or say we go on a big trip or something along those lines. So in my reality, there are 2 different options where you can really grow money quickly. There's a Roth IRA, right? A Roth IRA is like a tax plan, a retirement plan where, you don't really touch the money. What goes in there, you don't touch, but you can't really touch the money until you're about 59 and a half years old, right? So make sure you do your research on that. However, you do get surprisingly great interest rates. It's about 4 to 5% interest rates on the money that's in there, compounding over month to month to month. So by the end of each year, you have more money than you ever started with, which is super cool. The second thing is what's called an MPI, or an compounding index account. A compounding index account is something that's really kind of taken the world or society by storm recently. It's fairly new. I mean, it's not new. It's kind of it's a life insurance policy that has been rebranded and reframed by this specific organization calling it an MPI, or an compounding index account. The reason it's so popular is because it's a life insurance policy. However, you're able to pull out of the account however much money you need with no penalties, right? A Roth, you have penalties. In the compounding account, index account, you get 15% compounding interest versus just 4 to 5%. And you can pull out at any age. You don't have to be 59 and a half and wait until, something comes up or you need some money for something. And you can pull out without any penalty, which is really, really important. So just a kind of couple things. Like I said, I'm just getting into this. I'm just dabbling into the long-term savings and investing, but find investments that are going to be suitable for your principles and your practices of daily life. Because here's the reality. If you just invest in a Roth IRA, guess what happens, right? That money can also start to go to the market. And the market is a general market, meaning general stock market. What are the biggest stock exchangers on Wall Street? Typically, they're drug companies and pharmaceutical companies. And that honestly doesn't align with me promoting them to make money off of them. I consider that blood money. It's up to you what you consider that and what your personality and principles are. But I don't want to invest in that stuff, right? I don't want to support a drug company when I am every day in my practice fighting for people who are medical rejects, who literally have tried everything in their life except chiropractic care, and now they're in front of me, they start care, and they get well quickly because we're removing interference and we're letting their bodies take their natural course of healing and health. So I don't want to invest or put money behind all these bigger companies that really don't align with my core principles and my values as a human and as a person here on earth and what my mission is to accomplish here on earth. So it's really important that you kind of take that stuff into consideration. You realize where your money is going. If you are going to invest your money, make sure you understand where it's going, who it's going to, and how much of a return you are going to see in X amount of years, right? Ask these realistic questions because it's really, really important. So to kind of recap, bring this all back. Number one is you want to have money management strategies. Yes, we need to pay down student loans. Yes, we need to pay for a building. Yes, we need to pay for a business. Yes, we need to pay for gas in our car, food on our table, clothes on our back, etc. But at the end of the day, you definitely need to manage your money correctly and in a way that makes sense to you, your family, and is supportive of you and your family's lifestyle and what you are trying to accomplish. So, yes, you can have cash reserves on. Make sure you put it in something protective, not your mattress. Your mattress is flammable or flammable if your place does go up in flames. That's really important. Number two is find a local bank, find a community bank to support and that supports you, and make sure that you're able to get, any loans that you need from them, any PPP that you need from them, anything like that if some sort of crisis begins to happen again. The third thing is make sure you have a business checking, multiple business checking accounts, a personal checking account, and then savings accounts, right? You can have business savings if you choose to, but the reality is, in my circumstance, I have a personal savings, a personal checking, and then 5 business checking accounts because that's how I move money each month, twice a month. And if you read the book Profit First by Mike Michalowicz, it will literally change your business and entrepreneurial life in regards to finances because you're paying yourself first, or you're paying your business first, and then you're paying your expenses second, which is really, really, really important. And that's how you remain a profitable business where you're able to have liquid cash on hand to go market at events, to go promote yourself, to go do different things. It's really, really super important. And at the end of the year, you have enough money to pay your taxes if the IRS comes back in the United States and says, hey, you owe $20,000 to us. Please go ahead and cut that check. And now you have that money in reserves because you haven't touched it all year. You've just been putting a certain percentage in that account every single month. And now at the end of the year, you forget about it. And they're like, hey, we need 20K. And you're like, oh, I got that plus some. And that plus some goes back to you and your business, which is super cool. And you're able to write a check for 20K that literally you wouldn't have had if you didn't follow the Profit First system. So super, super cool, super critical stuff. If you have any questions, reach out to me. Like I said, I'm not a financial advisor, but I try to point you guys in the right direction. The last thing that I wanted to say is make sure you know where your money is going in regards to investments. If you're going to invest, make sure they align with your core principles, your core values as a human being, and what you fight for on a daily basis. Don't just throw your money at the market, because yes, it can do well, but if it doesn't align with your principles at the end of the day, and you find that out later on, and you're a very principled person like myself, all of a sudden you could be upset, you could be mad, and now you've been supporting the other side of healthcare and this paradigm that we're in all along, which is not okay, in my opinion, in regards to me, myself, and my attitude and my principles. So find yourself a savings account that's going to compound interest. Find yourself a Roth IRA and or an MPI, or a compounding index account that you can kind of talk to your local bank with and figure out how to invest in that. Really, really important to set yourself up for the future. And there are different strategies than our parents had. So nowadays is a great time to get involved in this stuff. And it's also a great time to start learning. If you're a chiropractic student or a recent chiropractic school graduate, this is a great time to start learning about how to use your money to work better for yourself, your family, and your loved ones. Because at the end of the day, retirement, savings, and investing are different than when our parents were going through school, when they were going through jobs, and where they're at now. We're not necessarily set up to have pensions. We're not set up to have healthcare benefits. We're not set up to have, all of these different perks that corporate jobs give us, and or long-term 30-year jobs give us. We are entrepreneurs, small business owners. So you have to start thinking that way. How are you going to set your future self up and your future family up for success now and for the future, so that you can really, if a dream of yours is to put your kids through college or buy their cars or do whatever you want to do, then you got to have money on hand to make sure you're able to do that. And it looks a little bit different nowadays than when our folks were in school and or when our folks were getting jobs, saving money, and planning for retirement. So I love you guys. I appreciate you guys. Make sure you do your research. If you have questions, please reach out to me. And as always, have a wonderful, wonderful day and a powerful rest of your week this week. I love you guys, and I'll be back next week with another episode of the Legendary Chiropractor Podcast. Peace and love, my friends. Bye. Dr. Stu Hoffman, founder and president of ChiroSecure Malpractice Insurance, is the foremost expert in both risk management and risk avoidance. Understanding the everyday challenges of today's practicing chiropractor and the current public perception of chiropractic has made ChiroSecure the fastest growing malpractice insurance program of the last 28 years. Find out more at chirosecure.com. Imaging Services' primary business is chiropractic solutions. With over 45 years in the industry of helping chiropractors, Michael Tokash offers free consultations on building your business. In the past year, Imaging Services has installed over 100 X-ray machines and digital X-ray systems in over 42 states across the United States. For more, head to theimagingservices.com. Dr. Brad Glowacki runs one of the highest volume, highest profile, highest profitability practices in the world, and it's all run with vitalistic communication procedures. Those procedures from his office are then shared with other chiropractors at his various trainings as a part of Level Up Mentoring. This information is created, developed, tested, and then packaged simplistically before being taught. With bruises and scars from making mistakes, Dr. Glow always delivers refined content that is battle-tested and simplified for use on Monday. To level up your life and practice, head over to levelupmentoring.rocks. That's levelupmentoring.rocks. Again, I'm your host, Johnny Reuter, and you're listening to the Legendary Chiropractor Podcast. Thank you so much for tuning in, and thank you for engaging with us on all of our platforms, including, but not limited to, Facebook and Instagram, all at The Legendary Chiropractor. Be sure to check our home site out at thelegendarychiropractor.com, as we have much to offer for prospective chiropractic students, current chiropractic students, recent chiropractic school graduates, and even veteran doctors of chiropractic out in the field. And lastly, I'd like to thank not only you, our listener, but also our podcast sponsors. Without them, this show wouldn't be possible. So I encourage you to go check out their websites and what they have to offer in the show notes for this episode. Thanks again. Stay legendary, my friends.